let's talk a little bit about Pope Francis, because obviously people have been sort of heralding him as a real, kind of savior, really, for a Catholic Church that was hemorrhaging people from the pews. This blog here on HuffPost from Steve Seibel, Pope Francis is the best thing to happen to the Catholic Church. It's really just one of many headlines that we've been reading over the last few months about him. What do you think he's actually done, kind of, by being vocal? Those 5 words that we mentioned at the beginning in the introduction. Has he really sort of shifted a course? Is it much more easy to be morally accepting of LGBT people as a Catholic?
Certainly, this Pope is doing some of that. He's moving he's softening the tone. For months and for years, really, the hierarchy has been very anti-gay in their approach and very hostile towards homosexuals. And Pope Francis is softening that tone. But it's interesting to note that what he's not doing is changing the teaching. That tone is rooted in the teaching. We've got to change the teaching. We've got to, to Natalie's point, we've got to get this out of the realm of morality. Homosexuality is not a moral issue. You're gay or you're not gay. You're bisexual or you're not bisexual. We don't go around asking people if heterosexual people are morally correct or acceptable to be morally heterosexual. It's not an issue. And we need to get the conversation away from the morality, because it's no longer that, at least not in the sciences.
Yeah, but Father Meier, doesn't the Church sort of continue to keep it as a sort of moral issue? I mean, no, if you look at the Pew poll, for instance, and although we've sort of had a discussion about whether or not the Pew poll has as much veracity as people may think it does, but that 44% figure with Brazil, the 55% with Spain, for instance, does that show that potentially the Church is losing some of its influence? Because really, the Church has made homosexuality a moral issue for quite some time.
Exactly. Again, the hierarchies made it a moral issue. The people from the pews, again, the Church is the people of God. The Church is the people of God. It's not just the Church as the Pope and the bishops and the cardinals, but the Church is the people of God. And the people of God are very clear that homosexuality is not a moral issue per se. It just isn't. And we need to be and grow in acceptance and love and tolerance for all people, regardless of who they love.
Well, I've got another comment here. This is from Chuck Mangione Rec, who says, not in the least, the Church accepts all who want to accept Christ as their saviour. A small minority believe being gay is a sin, but mostly churchgoers are accepting and loving. Try going to church sometime to see. Tiago, what do you think about kind of the churches in Brazil? Have you been to one recently? Do you feel that you would be accepted to kind of walk into a church in Brazil?
Yes, I honestly don't think they will be like harassing me and stuff, but at least in the Catholic Church. But we have a strong voice in the leadership of religion, that the protests here, that even in the law, especially on, I don't know how to say this, on some politicians have this link with the religion, and maybe I think that they will not accept me, at least. And now that I'm so out, as Natalie said, that I honestly think that some people are very, very accepting because of the religion, and they understand what we pass, and we have some ONGs here that do a job to help people, but I don't think it has to do with religion at all. The Pew research. Let me just add something. What Natalie said from last year, the Pew research said that maybe the relationship is with the wealth. The countries where religion is not a central point in people's lives are the most accepting. Maybe it's some this.
Oh, I think that's a good point as well. I want to read a comment here. This is from Ashley, who says, I currently reside in Boston, historically Irish Catholic and Protestant city, and we have a thriving LGBTQ community. Even our Irish mayor refused to march on St. Paddy's Day because of the anti-LGBTQ issues. And then I've got a follow-up comment here from Janet R., who says, it seems that every church is different, just like every religion is different. Are we lumping all into one pot and making a general rationalization? Natalie, what do you think about that? Are we being
It says in the Bible that it's a bomb. I can't say this word because I'm from Brazil. Help me, Father Gary.
Abomination.
Correct. I mean, it also says that about eating shrimp, however. I mean, of course it has something. I want to be really respectful of religion. I come from religious education. I went to a Catholic school. I'm a Fordham child. I am so thankful for the Jesuits. I don't, and I'm so thankful for Father Gary. I'm sure that he does. I don't want to come across, I'm very afraid of coming across like that angry gay person. And I, as much as I want to be really respectful and welcoming, I can't ignore that so much of the views that we have, they're so destructive to gays, just come from religion. Just did.
Is it? Well, actually, Natalie, kind of on that point, I have another comment here. I just want to get your thoughts on this, and maybe Father Meier as well. Wayne says, I think that there are a few exceptions like Spain and Thailand, but most countries do not to the point of a death sentence. The US is certainly not an LGBT friendly, with half the states pushing anti-gay, pro-religious legislation. I mean, what do you make of that in terms of, the United States versus Brazil? The US seemed to be falling behind when it came to the moral acceptability of homosexuality, and yet you reside in New York City, as you said, not America, but New York City. Do you feel much more liberated here? Are people much more tolerant here?
Oh my God, it's New York again. It's New York. I mean, I don't know if I go to, I don't know. I can't speak for my, experience. In Brazil, it's absurd.
Natalie, what could you do in Brazil versus the US or vice versa that you couldn't do in one or the other?
My goodness, I took a cab I walked with my girlfriend in Brazil, and I heard a lot of like, hey, you need a little something. That's the bare minimum. I was in a cab, and then I saw a guy saying, can you believe how gross these two women kissing over there? Like, there is this article in Folha that advised gays to not leave enclosed places to avoid being beaten up. It's awful. It's like they made T-shirts for the World Cup, making fun of other players, and it's like gay slurs on them. Like, so and so is gay, so and so is a F. Are you kidding?